Welcome to the DR Vibe. I'm your host, Jenny Poff, the founder of the Designers Roundtable, a national accountability group for independent creative business owners. I'm also a creative business owner myself with Prescott Designs based out of Erie, Pennsylvania. This is part 3 of our series in the DR Vibe of treating ourselves like a client and looking at ways to spend time on your business and why to spend time on your business versus something we all get caught up in of always being in the business. So this part 3, we're going to talk about prioritizing and personalize. And to open this up with special guest, with our guest, sorry, I forgot to introduce you guys. I have Crystal Reynolds, I have Damian Golden, and I have Rochelle Roberts. So make sure you listen to parts 1 and 2 so you can learn more about who they are. So here's the thing. This is what resonated me with this chapter or this segment of the DR Vibe. Just last week, I was at a real estate conference. I was one of my primary agents or clients, and we had national real estate Denny Grimes come and talk to us. And one of the things I always compare real estate business to our creative businesses because we both really thrive on referrals. And when he talked about all the gizmos and gadgets and things and that you can do to cultivate business, can get very diluted. And he referenced the 20-80 rule or the 80-20 rule and how you should really hone in on spending very strategic time on things that are going to build bigger results. And that comes back into my word for the year being focus and having the blinders, the horse blinders on so I can stay really strategic in reaching my goals, because as creatives, we can all get super excited and want to do all kinds of things. But picking things that are really going to make a big impact, but not suck up so much of our time. So, Crystal, what do you think about that? That's a big topic, right?
Yeah, it's totally true. And it does tie into, the whole idea of being an employee versus an owner in your own business is we can get very reactionary to everything that's coming into our email inbox, texting, cell phone, everything. And one of the things that we kind of cue in back to our January podcast about kind of focusing on what was our actual goal, what's our vision or mission. If we always have that in mind when we're thinking about what's coming in, and use it as a filter, kind of like, okay, where is this in that block of what I need to do? So do I need to do it now, or do I set it aside to do it another day? I think for myself, that really kind of helps me to focus on really what matters. Otherwise, you can just totally get distracted by reacting to everything that just comes your way.
And making those decisions and filtering, right? It's still a decision-making process, I think is really great where Rochelle comes in and helping creatives who we are so abundant in ideas of figuring out where is our core. So, Rochelle, can you talk to us about that a little bit? What does it mean to find our core?
Well, I think it means, one, as designers, creatives, is that you're already working in that industry, right? You're a designer. And I think digging deeper and understanding the kind of work that you want to do and where you want your business to move towards is it begins to give you a more solid foundation instead of necessarily going in 50 different directions or with all the different ideas. It gives you a point of reference. And that's why part of the manifesto is that it's out and open and visual so that you can continue to rely on, well, is my vision morphing, or am I getting off track by the choices that I'm making? And am I focusing, that important time on what will help my business grow? And the other part that when Crystal was talking is that, and we're backing up just a tad, but I think this is really important, is that we talk about is as designers, we're doing the work, right? When we add creative entrepreneur, we're being the creative, but we also have to remember to really be thorough with that entrepreneur part. And that is staying true to the vision. And that's where I think this, prioritizing and personalizing, what is your focus? And am I making choices to move towards that bigger picture?
Well, I want to interject in there if we have to think about who are some of our creative business owners and why they are in their independent creative business owners. Some of us made the choice to do it. Some of us were laid off. Some of us, like in my case, my child needed me and I needed to be able to be home and provide for my family. And so when you're in a reactive position to make that independent decision, right, then it all becomes very feast and famine because you just need the job. I'm in it. I got to do it. I got to find the work. I got to go. And I got to go. And that then you look at it and you're 5-10 years later and you have this business and you've been doing good. And have you ever really sat back and thought, one, let's celebrate the successes that you've had. And two, let's figure out what's the next phase. Now that I've been doing this a long time, I'm confident in no matter how I got to this point, what is my next step? How can I really look towards the future? Maybe it's to look towards retirement. Maybe it's to build passive income. Maybe it's to work less and make more, which is every entrepreneur's dream. And I think out of any of our creative business owners out there listening now, I don't care how long you've been in the business. Do you know why you're in business still today? And why do you want to be in business 5, 10, 15, 20 years into the future?
Or maybe not.
That's a great point, Jenny.
Right. Yeah. Go ahead, Damien. What was that?
I said, or maybe not.
Or maybe not. Maybe you've called it a day and you're ready to go back or do something else, So figuring out your why.
Yeah, and I think it's a planning thing. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
But I think that's perfect, because some people do. I mean, they love what they do. They certainly, see themselves in the future 30 years from now doing, the same thing. And that's great. Some other people are, well, what's my exit plan? And they need to plan. And that's really, I think at the core of it all is, prior planning prevents poor performance, right? So whatever your plan is, it's getting it down on paper, having it have legs, having it have a heart, and understanding what that is so that every decision you make from here into the future is going to support that growth or that progression of that plan. So I think that's the big thing. And some people, I love my creative business, but we have other businesses that are starting, and if we don't have a plan that's very specific for each one, they can't thrive simultaneously. So, I'm kind of wrapping back around to the 80-20 rule and, basically what Fredo said in that blog that I know you're going to share with everybody, it is looking at the 100% of what's going on, but really honing in and focusing on the 20% that will give you your biggest bang for your buck. What will make the biggest difference. I know when we have people that call in and want to work with us, we have a quick script that we go through with them that quickly tells us, are they fit for our business? And are we fit for them? So it's a two-way street and it helps us quickly get to the core of, is this the right decision to make for the plan that we've put in place for our business to grow? So it all works in tandem.
Well, and I think as creatives to hear that this 20%, 80% rule makes it less intimidating when thinking about how to spend time on the business, right? Because you think, I know I can hear people saying, I don't have time to work on my business. But if you can just segment out a couple of those big juicy goals and just look at, even if you start with, and we can use that 20% in any kind of capacity or tool, but if you could just spend 20% of a week working on your business, just thinking about it, you're going to be moving forward. And Michelle, you and I have talked about this a lot of, it's going to be hard the first time, right? You're going to hit this roadblock.
Mm-hmm.
And that's resistance. And that's where people kind of throw up their hands and be like, I'm out. I can't do this. It's too hard. But I can tell you from experience and from facilitating the DR group for so many years now, when us creatives specifically plow through that first resistance, it's hard and it really challenges who we are personally, professionally, creatively. But I tell you, the next roadblock you hit, the next resistance you get, it's easier to move through.
Absolutely, Jenny. That's a great point.
Well, ladies, thank you. And thank you, viewers, for coming in and listening to us again. And we hope you spend time on your business to make your creative business flourish and thrive. Thanks, ladies.
Thanks, Jenny.
And if you want to learn more about the Designers Roundtable and DR Vibe, please visit us at designers-roundtable.com.